0219 1012 2024 JTV.
Die guy, booty boy, rabbit in the hide. You should never take my gun, I say you shouldn't try with a nick. Not falling wall, I give the dog your bone. You focus in the X's, going to the funeral, me yalla. Send, another one come. Whoa, send, another one come. Yeah. Last time I put on me gun, I may not kill nobody. Work on muscle lonely, me gun get hungry. Send another one because me gonna bother me yalla. Send another one come. Whoa, take me easy, you take me easy. You got the pictures and I'm with somebody. No, not easy, you take me easy. You got the pictures and I'm with somebody. But the lyric was a true life, we make them haunted. Enemies from me borderline well selected. Body and mind, me wanted. Extension magazine, me use a kill me liquid and all. Send, another one come. Boy, send, another one come. Reggae music, the heartbeat of the people. But I don't know why them a fight against some boy and reggae the backbone of a punch boy. Why am I telling you? Fight. Reggae, I get a big fight. I don't fight. Reggae, I get a big fight. I could have went the reggae to them and them hate it so bad that anybody hear reggae. Jah know them must see murder. When the reggae to them and them hate it so bad anybody hear reggae. After them must see mad, you think a little man. Reggae make us money, you think a little man. Reggae in a foreign country. Then what they want see, reggae in a symmetry. Reggae at the back of the high country. Me say that when the reggae to them and them hate it so bad anybody hear reggae. Jah know them must see murder. When the reggae to them and them hate it so bad anybody hear reggae. Jah know them must see murder. Reggae our roots, reggae our culture. Them want like some different music take over. But I'm a tell all reggae lover. I put that in a England, Japan, America. Put that in the Caribbean, Germany, and Canada. They say all them a fight. Reggae at the rule, I just fight. Reggae get a big fight. I just fight. I say don't, yeah. Don't try to diss me, girl. You're not the only one in this world. I have my rights to pick and choose. Don't believe I have nothing to lose. You are the woman, I am the man. But you fail to understand that I'm not like the other guy you met. You break their heart to leave them to fret. I will do things you don't expect if you try to disrespect. But all good things will come to an end. I'm gonna leave you with a broken heart that cannot be mended. So don't try to diss me, girl. You're not the only one in this world. I have my rights to pick and choose. Don't believe I have nothing to lose. You lost your shame, you lost your pride. You want to take every man for a ride. I heard it on the avenue. These people business are so. Now that you changed from bad to worse, you wasn't behaving like this at first. So don't try to diss me, girl. You're not the only one in this world. I have my choice to pick and choose.
All girl pick you better run, come quick. Go catch me service of a me lollipop stick. Say all girl pick you better run, come quick. Go catch me service of a me lollipop stick. And me love the girl picking and me just can't change. Whoa, me say me just can't change. Me love the girl picking and me nah rearrange. Whoa, me say me nah rearrange. Say all of the girl them with the good property. Grab it up and say, oh, they say all of the girls them with the good property. Grab it up and say, oh, a property. Say she want me come pay down on the property. Say she want me come work in a property. Say she want me come build house neighborhood girl say why no? The property in the line, me say rain coulda fallen, even sunshine girl say scream. Because you wear endolin, make a guy know see you want the loving, mash it out. Because you run the road in the east west north, and down in the south, the champion, bubbling at the party. Jump around because you got the good property. Say Susan, Angie, and the one Patsy. Make a guy know some on the flirty. So all girl picking up better run, come quick. Come get me some this up on me lollipop stick. Yes, me love the girl, fucking me and me just can't choose. Road, me say me just can't choose. Me love the girl, fucking me and me nah rearrange. Road, me say me nah rearrange. Me say shock out. Me say all girl picking me. Jump up, cause you know see you ready ragamuffin, chuck and game off. I come the party, a long time me and me just sit down steady. Me say all of the girl with them property good. Grab it up and say whoa. Me say all of the girl we know them property good. Grab it up and say whoa. A property, she want me come pay down on the property. She want me for working a property. She want me come below on the property. Me long go for beer, the coffee so girl jump up. Because your property won't make a guy know. See you run me never until if you wine. Your property in a lot. Me say rain coulda fall even sunshine. Girl say scream. Because you wear endolin. Make a guy know. See you want the loving machine out it out. Because you run the road. Now the east west north. And down in the south the champion bubbling at the party. Jump around because you want the good property. Say Susan, Angie, and the one Patsy. Make a guy know some on the flirty. So all girls you better run, come quick. Come get me some from the lollipop stick. And me love the girl, and me just can't change. Oh, me say me just can't change. Me love the girl, and
G'day there, new Aussie Super Serum. For 100 hours of moisturised hair and a wave of endless moisture that goes on and on and on. Just let it melt away.
What makes the sun shine so bright? What makes the moon shine all night? Stars in the skies at night above, they don't seem to be around. Stars in the skies at night above, they don't seem to be around. It's the mystery of nature. Mysterious nature. It's the mystery of nature. Mysterious nature. Oh, what makes you see fruits on trees? If you see some, tell me the reason. Leaves are green on a tree, but after there is a day. Leaves are green on a tree, but after there is a day. It's the mystery of nature, mysterious nature. It's the mystery of nature, mysterious nature. are green and trees, but dark and there is nothing. It's the mystery of nature, mysterious nature. It's the mystery of nature, mysterious nature. It's the mystery of nature, mysterious nature.
It should cost $1 billion to look that good. It's pure.
Million Gold, the new fragrance by Raban.
It's like $1 million plan. Girl, I thought shut the wheel of the bed. This does not keep it so expensive. You might love it, very bad, really. Don't let it get away. Don't make it fade away. Don't let it fade away. Don't let it get away. Don't make it fade away. I give my love and you never come away. So long, girl, I've been talking around. Girl, I won't let you feel alone. I can be sure that you have a piece of your all you have to do is keep on coming to my room. So don't let it fade away. Don't let it fade away. Don't let it go astray. Don't let it fade away. Don't let it fade away. I give my love and you never can be. Oh, yeah.
shows today. I'm styling and profiling.
Jay-Z,
And I got the biggest house. I'm a big fan of town. You know why?
CEO, they're blasted in Manhattan. Damn.
That I'm custom made. Custom made, if you may. To about 15,000. Then you give them the whole shot. Right around 2,200 bucks. Look at it. Keep in mind. Woo. It's all I can look. And he's wearing about $35,000 worth of jewelry. He's wearing about $1,200 worth of clothes. He's got about $5 million in the bank. He lives in the biggest house on the biggest hill on the biggest side of town. He drives only cars that can be financed at the biggest banks. Then you gotta know you are looking at the one and only world heavyweight champion. No rock million bucks.
Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so... Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see
morning.
you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation
How can you admit to killing someone and deny murder? I'm a Christian boy, G. It's terrible. You see, she shouldn't have been doing all that. You see, shouldn't be doing. Oh boy. That's a young man. So you got 13 and 15, similar ages, young people. It's very important times for them, youngsters. You mess up in your teens, you're finished. You know, it can have some severe effects on your life. You don't look like he's autistic, eh? Well, you don't know. That's the problem, you don't know. Don't know who's who. What's what? It's after time. After bloody time. You don't know what to believe.
Accused of raping a 13-year-old girl back in 2000, allegedly along with Sean Diddy Combs. Our US correspondent Martha Kellner has more details.
This civil suit was originally filed back in October against Sean Combs, better known as P. Diddy. It has now been amended to also include allegations against Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. In this civil suit, a woman says that when she was a 13-year-old girl back in the year 2000, that she attended an after party for the MTV Video Music Awards, during which she says she was raped by Jay-Z and P. Diddy. She says that Jay-Z removed her clothes, pinned her down and raped her while P. Diddy and an unnamed female celebrity watched on. She says she was then raped by P. Diddy as Jay-Z and this female celebrity watched on once again. Jay-Z has dismissed in a lengthy statement these claims as idiotic. He's also attacked the character and legitimacy of the lawyer who has brought these claims. In his statement, Jay-Z directly addresses that lawyer. He says, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit.
Ambulance
The
chase.
wife,
I've not heard of one
which he
before.
refers to, is of course Beyonce, whom he's been married to since 2008 and been in a relationship for much longer than that. As for P. Diddy, he's currently in prison in New York awaiting criminal charges for sex trafficking and racketeering. He faces more than 24 civil lawsuits. This is the first one that has named Jay-Z, and he denies those allegations.
West Ham football.
Idea of investing in Bitcoin. Think about that. Did you know you can perfectly legally, through a government scheme, earn £1 million a year completely tax-free by using commercial property? That got your attention, didn't it? Maybe you're...
But first, we want to share with you some brand new developments we are learning in the Sean Diddy Combs investigations and civil lawsuits. We know this is an ongoing case against him, and now we are learning that one of the civil complaints that's been brought against Diddy has been amended. It's been amended. And so you may recall us talking about this case previously, and a case about a 13-year-old allegedly being raped by Diddy, allegedly being assaulted and raped by another male celebrity who was previously not identified. Now, that celebrity has been identified. He's been identified as fellow hip-hop mogul Jay-Z. His name has been revealed. The allegation is that he and Diddy raped a 13-year-old girl at an after party in the year 2000 after the MTV Video Music Awards. Now, Jay-Z is denying these allegations. In a statement he posted to his X account, he denies the allegations and questions why this was done.
I don't know what to say about these guys. I really don't know what to say. Well, I suppose we will see what's going on with this. This is serious allegations, huh? Again, another one.
Civilly, why this civil lawsuit was filed demanding money and why a criminal complaint has not been made. He writes, quote, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny." End quote. So that was what Jay-Z said publicly on his X account. In a statement to ABC News, that attorney, Mr. Busby, said, quote, "The pleading speaks for itself. This is a very serious matter that will be litigated in court." Now, this is the same lawsuit.
That's Busby. Come on, something going on with these two. They must know each other. Busby. So let's see what this man is. Busby. Let me let that play. I'm going to find Busby.
That was filed in October, accusing Diddy and accusing another celebrity of working in conjunction with Diddy to rape a 13-year-old not identified in the complaint, just named only as Jane Doe. And they also allege in this suit that another female celebrity was there the whole time watching this happen. So basically, we've heard these allegations about Diddy, and we We're wondering who these two other celebrities are. In the first suit, they were just named as Celebrity A male celebrity, and Celebrity B, a female. Female just said to be watching, but Celebrity B said to have
been broken, and victims are coming forward.
Well, after thousands of phone calls, Houston attorney Tony Busby says he expects even more accusers to come out against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Today, in a news conference we stream live on click2houston.com, Busby announced he is moving forward with 120 of those claims. KPRC2's Ruwan Balogan explains what happens next.
Hey, Busby says he does plan to file these lawsuits within 30 days. He adds that the accusers did take drug tests after the alleged events occurred, saying most of them came back positive after attending parties hosted by Sean Diddy Combs. In the week since the federal government indicted musician Sean Diddy Combs, attorneys say they've received thousands of calls from accusers.
And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward.
Of the 3,000 accusers, attorneys claim to verify 120 allegations against Combs. The team of attorneys led by Houston's Tony Busby, who previously represented.
You're a real man. You never go down, you just stay up. Who are you? Never tell me how to wrestle. Right lights. Big cities. I am Ric Flair, the president of the United States. They kiss all the girls in the neighborhood and made them pass. Kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, bishops. You turn the camera off and I'll be naked when you come back.
Several accusers against former Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson on various sexual assault allegations. Watson denied the claims. Busby said the accusations against Combs range in time frames between 1991 to 2024. Most of the accusers say they were victimized after 2015.
People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families.
I did reach out to attorneys representing Sean Diddy Combs, but have yet to hear back. I'm Roman Blogan, KPRC 2 News.
Oh, there was another one there, isn't it? Let me play this one. Finish up with this.
And Jay-Z's name has been filled in. His real name, Sean Carter. So now he's a defendant, along with Diddy, in this particular civil lawsuit. There's so much to discuss here. Let me bring in our law enforcement analyst this hour. She is a law enforcement expert. She's also a trial consultant. Sunny Slaughter on the program. Sunny, good morning to you. We talked about this. When that suit was first filed. We were all wondering, who are these celebrities? Who is this man who's alleged to have raped this child, as Diddy is alleged to have raped this child? And who is this female celebrity who's alleged to have watched these rapes happen? What's your reaction, please, to this allegation being brought against Sean Carter and him not wanting to settle this?
Good morning, Julie. Here we go again. Here we go with this case and the unfolding of it. So when it comes to Sean Carter being named, we've been hearing the rumblings and the ramblings that it could be him, that he could have something to do with this, and now the name is out. I have to agree with him. If this is a criminal case, criminal charges, let's see that happen. I am always, as a law enforcement expert, a litigation consultant, and someone that specializes in trafficking and sexual exploitation cases, concerned when we go to mediation regarding something that's criminal and not to the criminal litigation and for the investigation that is necessary in this case. Although it might be 24 years old, the allegations. We investigate cases that are 24 years old as law enforcement, and I think we need to see clear eyes and take down the temperature with the hype and get into the investigative material and start with Homeland Security Investigations, who has the expertise, who did the execution of the search warrant on Sean Puffy Combs stuff, and let's get into it that way as opposed to having mediation. These are criminal allegations, and we should not take them lightly, and particularly based on the age of the individual, and there could be others allegations.
Right, Sonny. And excellent points here. And let's keep taking it a step further. So you said this is a valid point, and I agree. I agree. I said it to my colleague, our senior producer on the show, Eric Goldson, when he said Jay-Z makes this point about why isn't this criminal? And I said, yeah, he's right. And I looked up the law. So the New York Child Victims Act, sometimes we hear it referred to as the CVA, a wonderful piece of legislation that opens up the window of the statute of limitations, right? Statutes of limitations, bar complaints that are outside of the window of time. And this extends them for child sexual abuse. And it does it in both civil court and in criminal court. And Sonny, you're familiar with this. So I'm doing the math here. This is alleged to have occurred in the year 2000. Okay, we're in 2024, and the statute of limitations is still open for a criminal case. According to what I'm seeing online, it's 28 years for felony offenses. Yep. So if this rape did occur, there's still 4 more years that this can be filed. And this is just the filing, and you know that, Sonny, just got to get the filing in, and then the prosecution can commence. So I'm curious your thoughts on that, Sonny, as an investigator. There's been a personal choice by this now woman, then 13-year-old complainant, who has chosen to go the civil route with attorney Tony Busby to get justice instead of going to investigators that we know of. Tony Busby could have said something publicly in response to Jay-Z's comment that, well, she has reported it or something, but to our knowledge, there has been no report. What does that say to you when an alleged victim isn't choosing to go the criminal route?
So it could say multiple things, and one of those could be that maybe as a young person or as someone more mature, they did try that. And they had some type of negative encounter with law enforcement where they may not have been believed. Sometimes that does happen, and that could have made it impossible for this alleged victim to feel comforted by what law enforcement would and could do. However, with all of the spotlight now on the other case, now tying this into this case, they might feel like there's more leverage, and maybe they don't want to go to court and testify in a trial. However, I think it is the wrong thing to do at any place when we think that criminal charges against someone where there's an alleged victim that was a child, a minor at the time. I do not think that lawyers should take this tactic. I know they're defending their clients, but I do think that we need an investigation into this case. There is still the parents. We need to find out, where were the parents with this child? Who else did she tell? There's so many nuances that are not explained. I just don't think that we can say, okay, it's going to be a civil complaint, ignore the criminal charges. And like you said, we still have a 4-year window where charges could be filed, but we need to get to those first before we start talking about having a mediation.
Right. Excellent point, Sonny, as always. For anybody wondering who Tony Busby is, so Texas-based lawyer, we've got a quick clip of him. Let's take a look.
Imagine entering your name and all of a sudden all of your car finance agreements that you had before.
The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward.
Okay, so he is the lawyer who has filed numerous claims. He is representing numerous victims. I can't even recall the number, but I know that, Sonny, you and I don't have enough fingers and toes to count all of the alleged victims that this guy is representing. And I'm saying alleged here, too, because we don't know. Look, we'll see what happens in civil court, however these cases are decided. They're merely accusations at this point against Sean Diddy Combs and now Sean Carter. Jay-Z. Yeah. So I want to dig into that story with you, Sonny. And full disclosure for everyone at home.
Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning. Good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement. Yeah. He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right, more than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, that there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law. But if true, it could rise to the level of criminality. And, you know, we'll see what happens if the DA looks and investigates.
So what happens now?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right? Before that, just briefly, there was a demand letter sent. And a demand letter is a letter being sent by a lawyer saying, hey, I don't have to sue you. We can sit, we can mediate it. If we reach an agreement, it never sees the light of day. Jay-Z saying, I don't care about your demand letter. I look at it as blackmail. You want to sue me, sue me. You want to look at it criminally, look at it criminally, but it'll go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen, but it'll be deemed civil. No indication at this point as to whether or not any criminal investigation will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah, and Jay-Z came back incredibly forcefully against these allegations and really singled out that attorney as well for being, I'm paraphrasing here, but greedy, saying he's out to get money and calling that letter essentially blackmail.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Jessica, also...
We at Court TV just obtained a copy of this amended complaint. So I'm reading through this now. I have my computer open and I'm looking at it. So a couple questions right away when we think, how did this child even get into this party? And so, Sonny, what's alleged here is that she has someone drop her off because she wanted to go to the VMA Awards, has a friend drop her off near Radio City Music Hall in New York City because she wants to try to get into the VMAs. She said it was a bucket list thing for her, believed she could get in. Apparently, and again, this is all according to what Tony Busby set forth, but says that she started talking to limousine drivers who were parked in the area. And one of them who she spoke to apparently said that she fit what Diddy was looking for, that he liked younger girls. And this driver allegedly said that he had to take Diddy to the after party first, but told the plaintiff, come back to this exact location right after the VMAs and I'm going to pick you up and take you to the after party. And so that is what is alleged to have done, that this driver takes her there. She says she enters a large white residence, a gated U-shaped driveway, and claims that she might have been asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement. She's not sure, didn't get a copy of that. Sonny, I'm sure that'll become important later on as we analyze this. She says she sees many celebrities and there were waitresses circulating, carrying drinks on trays. She said she observed widespread drug use, including cocaine and marijuana use, took a drink that was reddish and yellow in color. She said it tasted like orange juice, cranberry juice, and something bitter. Says after that she felt woozy, felt the need to lie down. She looked for a place to rest, saw what appeared to be an empty bedroom, lays down on the bed. Soon after, she alleges that Diddy and Jay-Z, along with a female celebrity, enter the room. She automatically recognizes all three of them, says that one of them, Combs, said, are you ready to party? Had a crazed look in his eyes. She claims that Combs threw her toward a wall, causing her to fall. Says she got up, at which point he grabbed her, threw her again on the bed. At that point, she claims that Jay-Z removed her clothing as she grew more and more disoriented. The allegation is that Jay-Z raped her first. That is the allegation, that he vaginally raped her while Combs and this female celebrity watched. That's what's being alleged. Then the allegations go on to further state that after Jay-Z finished raping her, he stepped back toward a wall, and that Sean Diddy Combs stepped in and vaginally raped her while Jay-Z and that female celebrity watched. I'm going to stop right there because I could keep going here, but that is the gist of it, that 2 rapes took place. That is what this complaint is alleging that Diddy and Jay-Z both raped her, and that this female celebrity watched it happen. Okay.
Why? This thing is getting out, is out of control. You know, this is. Let's see what Fox is saying. What is Fox? This one.
For drugging and raping a 13-year-old girl in a lawsuit tied to rapper Sean Diddy Combs. A lawsuit the music mogul is calling, quote, Jay-Z has been sued for drugging and raping a 13-year-old girl in a lawsuit tied to rapper Sean Diddy Combs. A lawsuit the music mogul is calling, quote, a blackmail attempt. Now, in the documents obtained by TMZ, Jay-Z is named by an anonymous accuser who says the rapper and Diddy drugged and raped her back in 2000. The plaintiff, who is suing as Jane Doe, says the alleged assault occurred at an after party following the MTV Video Music Awards. Now, the accuser originally filed a lawsuit against Diddy in October in which she claimed the Bad Boy Records founder and an unnamed celebrity proceeded to assault her while an unnamed female watched. The accuser has since named Jay-Z as the other celebrity in the alleged assault, as she refiled her lawsuit against Diddy to include his name on Sunday. Jay-Z's representatives have responded to the lawsuit with a statement from the rap mogul, who says that he was determined, quote, to expose the accuser for the fraud they are. To speak more on this, I do want to bring in Andrew Cherkasky, who is a former federal prosecutor and military veteran, who is now a high-profile criminal defense and civil trial lawyer. Andrew, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here on Live Now from Fox.
This is the coolest innovation of our lifetime. The world's first titanium nonstick pan. It's gonna blow your hair back. The nonstick surface is made with titanium. There's no coating on it. You can't scratch it. Not to mention there's no Teflon in it. I got this pan because it's beautiful, but it's also indestructible.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah. And I'm talking to everyone in the World Wrestling Federation. And I'm even talking to President
balance, but I'm very curious. I haven't seen Elizabeth lately.
Yeah, she's on the outside of the room. Does she infer matches? Yeah. Nothing, zero. Yeah. Pure athlete. Yeah. And I've been, maligned from the top to the bottom. And because they can't handle the Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop, nobody does it better.
Lawyer. Andrew, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here on Live Now from Fox.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So I did want to ask you this. The accuser originally filed this lawsuit back in October, only naming Sean Diddy Combs, now amending that lawsuit to include the name of Jay-Z. Initial reactions to this, does that shock you? And from your legal perspective, why might this change have occurred?
Well, these are very serious allegations, but Jay-Z has vehemently denied them. We have been seeing this trend since the criminal case was brought. There has been this influx of allegations from civil attorneys bringing civil lawsuits, looking for a really gigantic amount of money from both Diddy as well as those that they say were involved. One of the trends that I think is very concerning is this idea that they name an unnamed individual and then they send essentially a demand to their representatives and to them individually for some sort of settlement prior to them revealing the name. Can they resolve that? And it appears here with Jay-Z that this type of demand went to Jay-Z. He said he's not paying a penny. In fact, he said not a red cent, suggesting he sees this as blood money, and that he was not going to do this, and that he's the victim of an extortion scheme. That could be the case, and that could be something that as time goes by, we see more information about whether these allegations really were founded in sufficient truth to bring them forward in the first place.
So what are the next steps now that Jay-Z's name is connected with a lawsuit against Diddy? What happens legally?
Well, he'll have to defend himself. And so the first thing you have when you have a complaint against you is you have the answer to that complaint. There may even be legal avenues that they can take to try to quash the complaint or complain about something having not been done correctly, but he'll have to answer to it, deny those allegations to the extent that he's able to do so, just as he's been doing in the media. So this will be something that goes on for an extended period of time, but this will come down to the facts and potentially testimony about what did or didn't happen.
And Andrew, for our viewers, I wanted to share this. This is the statement that Jay-Z released. Quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case." This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. And so, Andrew, taking a look at this, and also I did also want to ask you, when it comes to the alleged victim, the person who is filing this lawsuit, right now, this is a Jane Doe situation. Is there any circumstance where a judge would compel this individual to reveal her identity or their identity publicly because of the high-profile nature and the seriousness of these allegations?
Well, to kind of piece that apart, first, Jay-Z says, bring this in criminal court. Well, we have to note that the DOJ has not named him, has not brought those allegations. And I think that they would be very interested in a case like this if there were actual criminal acts that occurred. So you have to wonder why this hasn't been handled criminally to start with. The standard in a civil court is much lower than in a criminal court, beyond a reasonable doubt in a criminal court, preponderance of the evidence in a civil court. As for the name of the victim and whether she can remain a Jane Doe or whether that will come out as her actual name, there is precedent for both being the case. And it deals with a number of factors concerning the publicity, the ability to defend yourself, the ability to rebut things in public. So there have been folks who have been forced to reveal their names in the Diddy case so far. And also many people are going by the Jane Does. So we'll see what happens, but there will be a point of reckoning where that story will have to be told in an open courtroom with a jury and determinations made if this pursues itself all the way to the end.
Andrew, before we let you go, is there anything else that you're keeping a very close eye on when it comes to these sorts of developments?
I'm keeping a very close eye on the attorneys that are bringing these civil lawsuits that seem to be doing a lot more investigation, seem to be having a lot more information than the FBI and the DOJ. That's highly suspect to me. There is certainly a large financial interest in what's happening with these lawsuits and the position Diddy's in. So I think that it's very important to maintain the presumption of innocence with folks that are being accused. Obviously, people are very curious about what's happening, and we want to make sure that anybody who violated children or committed any types of crimes are held responsible. But we have to have responsibility in the presumptions of innocence versus the salaciousness of these stories and the sprint to presume guilt that we see sometimes in especially social media and those types of posts.
Absolutely. Important point to note there, Andrew. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And
you never go down, you just stay up. Who are you? Never tell me how to wrestle. Right leg. Big city. I am Ric Flair. The kid all the gold in the neighborhood and made a pass. Keep stealing, wheeling, dealing. Look at me right, vicious.
And as Andrew was mentioning the attorneys involved, I did also want to share this statement with you. This is Tony Busby, who filed the lawsuit on behalf of this Jane Doe, saying, quote, Mr. Carter, referring to Jay-Z's legal name, Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He even filed his frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I am very proud of her resolve. And so we continue to follow the very latest developments as we share this information with you, as we do now know that Jay-Z has been named in connection with a lawsuit involving Sean Diddy Combs. Now, Diddy's lawyers also responded to this, telling TMZ the amended complaint and lawsuit are, quote, shameless publicity stunts designed to extract payments from celebrities who fear having lies spread about them. We're going to continue to follow all of these developments as they happen and, of course, bring that to you as we see fit.
It was absolutely amazingly divine.
One of the most extraordinary evenings of my life. I really mean that.
Joyful, like amazing.
Usually I'm not speechless. I am speechless today.
It was absolutely riveting, beautiful. It's very nice to see a show that concentrates on the highest and the best of humanity.
My heart is fluttering because of this performance, and it's going to be with me for the rest of my life.
I've been in business for 52 years, so I have experience of knowing the difference between average, good, and beautiful. And this is magnificent.
The technique was unbelievable. I mean, the lines, the toes, the arch, and they all move as one. And that shows the heart of it.
I used to be with the Royal Ballet as a principal dancer, and it was faultless. You finish a line, it almost ripples into the next move.
Jay-Z revealed as an accused rapist in a civil lawsuit initially filed against Sean Diddy Combs. The two stars, now accused of raping a 13-year-old girl at an after-party decades ago. I have 7 shocking details from the suit and what Jay-Z, Combs, and the accuser's lawyer are all saying about it. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Jay-Z, of course, is one of the biggest names in rap music, and he has been a longtime friend and associate of Sean Diddy Combs. Now he's being revealed as the name behind Celebrity A in a lawsuit filed by a Jane Doe from Alabama, who claims that Combs and now Jay-Z raped her in the year 2000. And in a bit, I'm going to tell you what both Jay-Z and Sean Combs are saying about this lawsuit, so stay tuned for that. Combs is currently in federal custody, accused of racketeering and sex trafficking, and he's pleaded not guilty to those charges. The sex trafficking charge filed against Combs relates to allegations made by his ex, Cassie Ventura, that he forced her to take part in freak-offs, days-long sex acts with male sex workers. Cassie had originally filed a civil lawsuit against Combs in November of 2023. That suit, of course, was settled in record time.
Cry about it. You take life, the ups and downs. If you're a real man, you never go down, you just stay up. Cry about it. You take life, the ups and downs. If you're a real man, you never go down, you just stay up.
Celebrity A and Celebrity B. Celebrity A was listed as a man and Celebrity B a woman. Now attorney Tony Busby, after some legal back and forth with a demand letter and dueling lawsuits, says Celebrity A is Jay-Z, whose legal name is Sean Carter. The suit begins. Defendant Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, along with his longtime friend and collaborator Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after party following the 2000 Video Music Awards. Another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Many others were present at the after party, but did nothing to stop the assault. Combs has been allowed for years to conduct himself in this manner without any consequences.
Medical weight loss is not cheating. It's actually the smartest way to lose weight. For decades, you've been told that losing weight is all about willpower. But here's the truth. Obesity isn't about motivation. It's about biology. In fact, up to 80% of weight is linked to genetic.
We went to this thing. DMX. Times Square. Lots of celebs there. Lots of celebs. Celebs there. DMX. Brian McFadden. Mick Foley. Eminem. Huh. What the hell? So Beyonce was performing at that show. You see that? Where is it again? Oh, Destiny's Child. Oh. I don't know who he is. Then here. Sting, Eve. Seen Eve for years. Wildberg. Braxton. D'Angelo. Rotted. Okay. 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 Chili Pepper. Christopher Judas. Booty thing. I'll have to watch this again, Pootie Tang. I like that film. Oops, what am I doing? Jim Carrey. Huh. J. Macy Gray. Redman and Method. Slayer. Robert De Niro. Hatch. Kim. Okay, the Mafia Man. Oh, look here.
February of 2000, when she said she went to the MTV Video Music Awards at Radio City Music Hall. She didn't have a ticket, so she approached limo drivers who were parked outside hoping to get in. The lawsuit says one of the limousine drivers she spoke to claimed to work for defendant Combs. The driver told her that Combs liked younger girls and said that she fit what Diddy was looking for. And while not allowing her into the awards, the driver invited her to an after party. The driver stated that he had to drive Combs and others to the after party first, but instructed plaintiff to return to his location after the event and that he pick her up after and take her to the after party. While the woman says she was outside the VMAs talking to the limo drivers, inside it was a big night, particularly for Jennifer Lopez, who was at the awards show with her then boyfriend, Sean Combs. They were a hot couple back then, and Lopez won the VMA for Best Dance Video. She was on top of the world that night. The woman claims that night, outside of Radio City Music Hall, she got into a limo with someone affiliated with Sean Combs. That suit says, after approximately 20 minutes, plaintiff arrived at a large white house with a gate U-shaped driveway. Once inside, two men asked plaintiff to sign a non-disclosure agreement, informing her that she could not discuss what happened at the after party. She gave them her name and signed the form, but did not receive a copy. The Jane Doe described seeing celebrities, but those people are not named. Inside the building, plaintiff recognized many celebrities as she entered what appeared to be a large living room or foyer containing a large crowd. Plaintiff attempted to mingle in the crowd and talk to several of the celebrities that she recognized and whom she wanted to see at the VMAs. Waitstaff circulated throughout the room, carrying trays of drinks, and loud music played throughout the venue. Plaintiff observed widespread drug use, including marijuana and cocaine. After attempting to talk to numerous celebrities, plaintiff accepted a drink from one of the waitresses, circulating the crowd. The drink was a reddish-yellow mixture that tasted like orange juice, cranberry juice, and something bitter. After drinking just a portion of that drink, plaintiff began to feel woozy and lightheaded, making her need to lie down. A photograph of an actual exemplar container used by Combs and/or his agents/employees to insert GHB into alcoholic drinks is seen below. And these are the photos included in the lawsuit that show a small plastic container that the plaintiff claims contained drugs at the party. The woman, remember, who claims she was 13 at the time, says she felt woozy and went to look for a place to lay down. She claims she found...
Okay, so I get it. You're an investor. You like the quick bang for your buck. You love the idea of investing in Bitcoin. Think about that. Did you know you
found a bedroom that had just a large bed in it with no other furnishings? And what she describes next is incredibly disturbing. The cases I cover each day here on Crime Fix show you just how scary the world can be. And one of the scariest things that can happen is if you ever get hurt. But I want you to know, if you're ever seriously hurt or in an accident, your case could be worth millions. That's where Morgan & Morgan comes in. The firm has an army of more than 1,000 lawyers who will fight for what you deserve, and they have the track record to prove it. In the past few months, Morgan & Morgan has won big verdicts like $12 million in Florida, $26 million in Philly, and $6.8 million in New York. All of those were much higher than the highest insurance company offer. Seeing if you have a claim can be done in 8 clicks or less, and you don't even have to leave your couch to start one. Also, a really great thing, you only pay Morgan & Morgan if you win. There are no upfront fees.
There you go.
With defendant Carter and a female celebrity, Celebrity B. Plaintiff immediately recognized all 3 celebrities. Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party." Combs then threw plaintiff toward a wall, causing plaintiff to fall. Plaintiff got up and stumbled, at which point Combs grabbed her again and threw her on the bed. At that point, Carter began removing plaintiff's clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. Plaintiff was held down by Carter as he vaginally raped her, while Combs and Celebrity B watched. After Carter was finished, he stepped back toward the wall. Combs then stepped forward and vaginally raped plaintiff while Carter and Celebrity B watched. Combs then knocked plaintiff down and attempted to force plaintiff to perform oral sex on him. She fought back, standing up quickly and punching out at the same time, hitting Combs in the neck. Taken aback, Combs stopped his attempt. The allegations in this suit are very disturbing, and Sean Combs is denying the claims being made by the woman, who's now around 37 years old. Combs and his legal team said in a statement, "This amended complaint and the recent extortion lawsuit against Mr. Busby exposes his barrage of lawsuits against Mr. Combs for what they are, shameless publicity stunts designed to extract payments from celebrities who fear having lies spread about them, just as lies have been spread about Mr. Combs. As his legal team has said before, Mr. Combs has full confidence in facts and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or..."
Because the great one said so. And one more thing. This Sunday night at Armageddon, The Rock is going to do all he can to win the WWE title. If you smell
or woman, adult or minor. And Jay-Z posted a lengthy statement on X calling the allegations heinous. "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt, called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny," in all caps. "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case." This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. "I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type." Jay-Z then talks about his family and the toll this will take on them. "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am." And lawyer Tony Busby, who filed the suit in the first place, is firing back also on X. Regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients, Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed his frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she sought only a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve. As far as the allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court. not in the media. I want to bring in Nima Rahmani. He is an entertainment attorney, and he's been following the whole Sean Combs ordeal very closely. So, Nima, your thoughts on Jay-Z being revealed as Celebrity A in this lawsuit? I know you and I discussed this a few weeks back.
And Jeanette, I'm not surprised. You and I have speculated, as to who this might be. And I think it was really telling when Alex Spiro and Quinn Emanuel filed that extortion lawsuit against Tony Busby. It's pretty well known that Spiro represents Jay-Z and Rock Nation. So it was the most likely celebrity. And now it's been revealed that the allegations are indeed against Jay-Z.
Stop listening to the information property gurus are advertising if you want to build a long-term property business. Because most will tell you that in order to build a property portfolio, you need to work with strategists.
Lying in the ocean. Now, Rocky is radioactive, but what he needs from you is an import license.
Why would we want to weaponize this material?
As a deterrent, a silver bullet to keep in reserve to use against the Kryptonians, so the day does not come, madame, when your children are reading daisies and reviewing stamps.
Last I looked, the only one of those flying around up here was Superman.
Yes, Superman. Yeah, but there are more.
The medical weaknesses.
Yes, the medical weaknesses. More likely than not, these exceptional beings live among us. The basis of our list, gods among men upon our little blue planet here. You don't have to use a silver bullet, but if you forge one, well then, we don't have to depend upon the kindness of monsters.
I think it's interesting too, because Alex Spiro came out swinging about a month or two ago when something came up about Jay-Z and Beyonce on a Piers Morgan show. And he came out, sent some type of letter to Piers Morgan saying, you need to retract this, get rid of whatever was said about my clients. And he did it lickety split. And then that was kind of a big red flag that Jay-Z was on the offense or on the deep.
You see how powerful Jay-Z is? Piers Morgan, you know.
It is 5 times there was resistance. 5 times it became a real fight. 5 times there was something to overcome. And he failed all 5 times. He was only in 5 fights in his life. And he's 0-5. I'm sorry. Sour grapes, because we know my history with him, right? Am I capable of that? Yeah, I'm human, yeah. But I can honestly tell you that I try to be better than that. That I've called many fights where the people in the corner, I couldn't stand them. I had no respect for them. But if they did a good job in the corner, if their fighter did a job, I talked about them like they were Ray Arcel, like they were Angelo Dundee, because that's what it was supposed to be. That's all. And it's selfish because I want to know, and I want my kids to know that
defense and on the offense, trying to play a little bit of both. So, but the thing is, Jay-Z is saying this isn't true. He's filed a motion to dismiss this suit. He is not taking this laying down. He is saying, this has emboldened him to not give in and pay 1 red cent. But this woman is claiming this was Jay-Z and Sean Combs who raped her as a 13-year-old girl. So how do we get to the truth of the matter here?
So what you would want if you are Busby and this now woman's lawyer is ideally you have some sort of corroborating evidence and a contemporaneous report. It can be challenging to bring these types of cases decades later. Now, it's really going to go in one of 2 ways. And we saw it with Diddy and Cassie Ventura. This is either the first of many lawsuits that are going to be filed against Jay-Z, or this is a one-off. We know that it can be Weinstein, it can be Cosby, it can be Epstein. Oftentimes, abusers abuse more than one victim. And I'm not saying any of this is true, but if it is, there may be more than one victim here. And if others do come forward, sometimes it's hard for jurors to believe one victim in a he said, she said type situation. But when victim after victim is telling the same story of physical and sexual violence, that's very hard for jurors to overcome.
We still don't know who Celebrity B is. There's been a lot of speculation about that. We don't know who it is. We know it's a woman, and she so far has not been unmasked. Tony Busby has not revealed Celebrity B's identity. What can we take away from that?
Yeah, so Celebrity B, there's a lot of speculation out there. I mean, obviously we know who Diddy was dating at the time, and I think that's who a lot of people think it was. But, obviously we weren't there, and it's just innuendo and rumors right now. But that individual, from a legal perspective, the allegation is that she was a witness. She was not a participant. Witnessing a sexual abuse is certainly terrible, but I don't know necessarily if there's any legal claim against her, although I'm sure Celebrity B does not want to be unmasked and wants nothing to do with this, just like most individuals right now want to have nothing to do with the Diddy allegations. And if it's Diddy and Jay-Z, I think that same logic is going to apply.
So Jay-Z wants this to go away as quickly as possible. We saw what happened when lawsuits were filed against Sean Combs, or at least the initial one by Cassie. Are we going to see more lawsuits filed against Jay-Z in the coming days?
I think the coming days and weeks and months are really going to be telling. Having represented a lot of victims of sexual assault and abuse, there is a hesitation to be the first one, because it can be terrifying to go against a rich and powerful man with a lot of assets and unlimited resources, right? You might get dragged in the media, right? So, but once the first person files the lawsuit and you kind of see it, there is this strength in numbers, and that's what Me Too is all about, right? So I don't know. It's still too early to know. Is this going to be a Me Too type situation for Jay-Z and the entire music industry? Or is this just going to be one accuser? And I'm not saying that I don't believe the one accuser, but it is a very different case in the courtroom and the court of public opinion if there's many, many accusers. So I think that's going to be the big determining factor in this. And ultimately, if there are a lot of accusers, what does that mean for Jay-Z's business dealings, right? He is someone who produces the Super Bowl halftime show. What does the NFL do? What are other celebrity do? What does Beyonce think of all this? Again, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but if it does, it's certainly a game changer here.
Jay-Z is
This is no career criminal. As we've been learning from law enforcement, there were no prior arrests of him. They really weren't on, he wasn't really on their radar. And so what we've learned is that Mangione really went to some of the best schools in this country, comes from a prominent family in Maryland. As far as those schools, we know he graduated in 2016 from Gilman High School, which is an all-boys school. He's valedictorian of his class, where he gave his speech at his graduation. Then he went to the University of Pennsylvania, where he also graduated with a bachelor's and master's degree, computer science, as well as mathematics. Extremely smart, told his news. What have you learned about him? Yeah, Aaron, this was no career criminal. As we've been learning from law enforcement, there were no prior arrests of him. They really weren't on, he wasn't really on their radar. And what we've learned is that Mangione really went to some of the best schools in this country, comes from a prominent family in Maryland. As far as those schools, we know he graduated in 2016 from Gilman High School, which is an all-boys school. He was valedictorian of his class, where he gave his speech at his graduation. Then he went on to the University of Pennsylvania, where he also graduated with a bachelor's and master's degree, computer science, as well as mathematics. Extremely smart, told his newspaper there that he wanted to learn how to code because he wanted to make his own video games. Extremely smart individual. As far as the family is concerned, we know that his grandfather was a real estate mogul in that area in Maryland, and that his family owns a bunch of nursing homes. They also own a bunch of country clubs. So really interesting pieces making up the framework of who Luigi Mangione is. We also have found a Goodreads account where he talks about the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, and essentially says that he's a political revolutionary. And this is all being scrubbed right now as we speak, his social media accounts, as again, investigators are still trying to figure out a motive in this case. Aaron?
All right, Bryn, thank you very much. And out front now, RJ Martin, the owner of Surf Bake, HNL, Honolulu, a co-working and living space in Hawaii where Luigi Mangione lived around 2022. So RJ, I mean, you and I are speaking here in a conversation that hours ago you never in your life would have thought you would be having. Were you shocked when you learned that your friend was the suspected killer?
Beyond shocked. It's unimaginable. You know, I was roommates with him, friends, hiked, went to yoga. He's, you know, did his best to be athletic, and unfathomable knowing the kind, you know, person that I saw and knew.
So when did you meet him?
Well, actually, we have an interview process because when you throw a bunch of people living together, you need to hopefully make sure they work well. And I interviewed him before he moved in. He works in tech. He has a remote position. He was looking forward to living in Hawaii and being healthy. He was excited about getting new people, experiencing new culture.
And did he, all right, so I know this was back in around 2022. So you're coming out of COVID. I'm curious, RJ, did you know where he was working remotely or why he had suddenly decided to decamp to Honolulu? Was there sort of any break in his life or anything that you ever became aware of?
No. It's very natural. Our members all have remote jobs, and Hawaii is one of those places that many people would love to live. So we provide kind of an all-inclusive living experience. So it makes it easy for them to move to the islands.
Okay, so I know you considered him, from your interactions with him, the time you spent together, as someone who would be a lifelong friend. What was he like when you knew him? And I know you shared some pictures with us as well. I mean, in terms of how social he was and the sort of interactions that he would have had with the other people in your co-living community.
He was a very thoughtful person, communicated really well, was friendly, had good relationships with everyone. He was even, in some ways, a bit of a leader. He helped spearhead a book club that we started just so we could, you know, keep those intellectual pursuits alive from back when we were in school.
So you mentioned that he was into health. How did that manifest himself? And you mentioned you went hiking together, things like that. Can you tell us more about that? Why he cared about health? And I understand also that at one point you did become aware of some issues with his back.
Yeah, so when I first interviewed him before he moved in, I remember he said he had a back issue and he was hoping to get stronger in Hawaii. So he's always focused on trying. When he first came, he went on a surf lesson with other members, and unfortunately, just a basic surf lesson, he was in bed for about a week. We had to get a different bed for him that was more firm, and I know it was really traumatic and difficult. You know, when you're in your early 20s and you can't, you know, do some basic things, it can be really, really difficult.
Did he have any conversations with you then or even afterwards about that issue? And I mean, his back, how he hurt it? I mean, obviously anything to do with the insurance process of it?
You know, the only thing he ever mentioned, you know, he mentioned, oh, I need to go back to see my doctor and then I'm going to have surgery. I encouraged him and brought him to yoga classes. He would do calisthenics on his own. I know he was really focused on being strong and healthy, but it also weighed on him that he knew that there was an impending surgery. So
did you, in the context of all the books that you were reading and the book club that he was leading, did you have conversations about any of the issues that, you know, we now even see in the writings that he had on him when he was arrested? I mean, did he talk about, I mean, not even as maybe as specific as health insurance, but capitalism, anything of that nature?
You know, I apologize. I haven't read any of the media that's happened. I heard about it when a reporter called me. So I'm not familiar with what his writings were, but I know we talked about social issues and we talked about how to improve the world. And we talked about, you know, issues that are, you know, say with capitalism or with the healthcare system or with housing or the food systems. It wasn't, you know, anything specific. It wasn't like he had an axe to grind or he was even upset or angry about a particular issue. They were just natural intellectual conversations that you have when you're inquisitive.
So you stayed in touch with him. I know you spoke to him earlier this year, although I understand, RJ, that you tried to reach out to him multiple times even since then, but that he had not responded in those cases. Can you tell me about your last conversation with him?
Mostly just text messages. So I knew he was going to have a surgery. So earlier this year, I checked in with him. He confirmed that he had surgery, and he sent me the x-rays. It looked heinous with just giant screws going into his spine. After that, he called me once. I didn't pick up. We kind of texted a little bit, but we, unfortunately, I feel terrible now. I wish, I would have made more of an effort to communicate with him.
Did you ever have any conversation with him where he brought up anything like
God.
guns or anything in that area?
Never once talked about guns, never once talked about violence. He was absolutely a not violent person, as far as I could tell. Yeah.
Well,
So RJ, in all of this, as you're just struggling to get your head around what happened here with someone, that you had considered would be a lifelong friend. And I know you've only had a few hours to even try to comprehend it, but just in these initial hours, do you have any idea why or how someone that you knew in the way you knew him could have done this?
Personally, I can make zero sense of it. There's never justification for violence. We live in a democratic system with processes and procedures to address, our issues. And I can make no sense of it.
Well, RJ, I appreciate your willingness to share all this with us.
You could kiss your celebrity crush.
Hey, I'm Hallie, and we are. United Healthcare. Luigi Mangione, 26 years old, a Penn grad, somebody who had potentially, he certainly was found at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He was found, police say, by an employee who recognized him, who called police saying that he was acting suspicious. And police found a number of items, they say, in Altoona on his person, in his backpack with him. They found this, the so-called ghost gun, police say, that may have been created using a 3D printer. We don't know who actually created it. Police say it's consistent with the one used to kill Thompson. They found a 3-page handwritten manifesto showing Mangione had what they call ill will toward corporate America. They found multiple fake IDs, including this one from New Jersey with the name Mark Rosario on it, obviously a fake name, according to police. Investigators right now are digging into whatever they can online, including, and this is some new reporting here from NBC News, as you take a look at this image here. This is, of course, Wednesday in New York City in Midtown, the day the shooting happened. Investigators are, we understand, now looking at an online post, including a picture he put up of an X-ray of a person's back with screws in it to see if that is related to all of this, to see if that was Mangione's back, a relative's, for example. That's according to 2 senior law enforcement officials. Why does that matter? Because it may be another clue, potentially, on any motive here. Stephanie Gosk is live for us in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Tom Winter, Danny Savalos are with us as well. Steph, let me start with you here. That first look, of course, at this so-called person of interest. Talk us through. Arraignments are typically very quick, right? Any expectation that this is going to be any different?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, it's really important to say that he has been arrested on unrelated gun charges. He has not been charged yet in the murder of CEO Brian Thompson. But as you can see, he's being walked into the courthouse for an arraignment. It's unclear whether he's going to plead yet in this moment. Maybe he does. That's what we're waiting to find out. His day ending very differently than how it started, Hallie. He was here at this McDonald's. eating breakfast, and one of the employees saw him, clocked him, thought he was looking suspicious, and called the police. And the NYPD say the breakthrough in this case really is because of those photos that were released, especially the photos where we saw the face of the suspect. You know, those images of him checking into the hostel with that smile on his face. Then, as you say, when law enforcement showed up here, he showed them a fake ID with the name Mark Rosario on it, a New Jersey ID, the same one that he used to check into that hostel, Howie.
Thanks for watching. Breaking right now on WUSA 9 News at 4. Police in New York say they have arrested a, quote, strong person of interest in the brazen Manhattan killing of United Healthcare CEO. Investigators say this man here, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, was taken into custody after police got a tip.
He was arrested at this McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Investigators say an employee recognized him and called police. Good. Thank you for joining us on WUSA 9 and streaming on WUSA 9 Plus on this Monday. I'm Leslie Foster.
And I'm Lorenzo Hall. So we're told Mangione has ties to our area. He was born and raised north of Baltimore. Tom Hansen has the latest on the investigation from New York.
Authorities in Pennsylvania are questioning a person of interest in connection to the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
He matches the description of the identification we've been looking for.
The man, identified as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, was arrested at an Altoona McDonald's Monday morning on firearms charges after an employee called in a tip. Officials say Mangione was carrying a ghost gun and a silencer.
Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident.
Officials have combed through thousands of hours of video since the targeted attack in front of a Midtown hotel last week, deploying drones, K-9 units, and scuba divers in Central Park. Dive teams scoured a pond in the park looking for more evidence after finding a backpack they believe belonged to the shooter in the area, containing a jacket and Monopoly money. Police believe the shooter headed to the Port Authority's bus station near the George Washington Bridge after ditching the bike he used to flee the scene of the crime.
This investigation is still active and ongoing.
Police say they've recovered a handwritten 3-page document from the person in custody indicating he had some ill will towards corporate America. They're also scrubbing his social media accounts as the investigation continues. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
And you can expect more from WUSA 9 on this breaking news.
Now to the urgent manhunt for the killer of the United Healthcare CEO. Right now, the AP is reporting a man with a gun similar to the one thought to be used in the murder has been taken in for questioning in Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, new video obtained by ABC News shows the suspect waiting for Brian Thompson moments before that shooting. ABC's Rena Roy is in New York.
Police sources tell ABC News a man in Altoona, Pennsylvania is being held for questioning in connection with the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. They say he has a similar gun to the one used in the killing and was found with a fake ID. The NYPD now sending detectives there. Today, new video obtained by ABC News shows the suspect lying in wait. When the killer spots his mark, he runs across the street and opens fire. In newly released photos, the suspect is seen getting into a New York City taxi about 20 minutes after the shooting, appearing to look right at the camera.
We feel comfortable. We're getting closer and closer.
Hundreds of tips are pouring in, thousands of police officers working the case.
I don't want to do anything that's going to tip him off that we're on his trail. But we feel really good where we are.
Again, NYPD divers searching a Central Park pond. They hope to find the gun used in the shooting and the bicycle the suspect got away on. Near the pond, investigators found this backpack linked to the shooter. In it, police sources tell us a jacket and Monopoly money.
Some kind of statement, some messaging that has to be figured out.
The police also built a timeline starting 10 days before the shooting, November 24th, when they say the suspect arrived in New York by bus just after 10 p.m. He immediately took a taxi to the scene of the crime. He took another taxi to a hostel on the Upper West Side where he checked in using a fake ID and was spotted on a security camera without his mask. On December 4th, police say the suspect is seen leaving the hostel at 5:30 in the morning and arriving near the Hilton 11 minutes later. He was seen walking nearby, ordering at Starbucks, then waiting for Thompson, who crossed 6th Avenue at 6:44 a.m. Today's new video giving us more detail of that. 45 minutes later, police say the suspect was seen at the bus station by the George Washington Bridge, but not seen since. At United Healthcare headquarters in Minnesota this weekend, fencing going up as security is reassessed. Police have not established a motive, but say they found no evidence the killing had anything to do with Thompson's personal life. United Healthcare is declining to answer questions posed by ABC News, including whether the company has offered to contribute to the reward money for information leading to an arrest. Rena Roy.
Radio.
The official online year-end promotion of Citizen, the leading Japanese watch brand, has begun. The JADETV 2054L light-powered mechanical watch, which originally cost £500, is now available at a promotional price of only £35. It does not require frequent battery replacement. It uses
In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning.
Breaking details in the
In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning.
breaking details in the arrest of Luigi Mangione, the 26-year-old man.
No. What's all this? Come off it. Oh no. Oh, I don't want all this to be shown now, man. Sure. Hold on now. We go back to that video. I'll find that.
Brian Thompson.
It was a peaceful arrest, first and foremost. The officer quickly recognized the male as the suspect from the shooting. And within several seconds of the first contact, he had asked the reaction from the suspect. He became visibly nervous, kind of shaking at that question.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Luigi Mangione is in custody in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He is the prime suspect in the execution-style killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan less than a week ago. The arrest came after a 5-day-long nationwide manhunt for a shooter whose name wasn't known until Monday. His face seen for only a brief moment when he dropped his mask during a visit to a hostel in New York City in November. After Brian Thompson was shot on a city street on December 4th, the search for the shooter began at 6:45 a.m., just after those shots were fired. The shooter fled on an electric bike into Central Park and then into a cab. Police said he then took a bus out of New York City. Saturday night, the NYPD released new photos showing the suspect wearing a surgical mask as he was getting into a cab. And then shortly after he entered, the camera in the cab capturing this crystal clear image of the man with the distinctive eyes and eyebrows. Then Monday morning, a major break. It came when a person called from a McDonald's in Altoona. The caller thought that he recognized a man in a mask.
When officers arrived, they made contact with the male who had a face mask on. That male was asked to remove his face mask, and officers immediately recognized him as a suspect in the New York City shooting in recent days. That male was asked for a form of identification. He then provided a fake identification card out of New Jersey. After a brief investigation, it was determined that the ID provided was in fact a fake ID, and he was subsequently arrested for a forgery charge. Once he was taken into custody for that forgery charge, he was transported to the Altoona Police Department, Once at the Altoona Police Department, that mail was searched instant to arrest.
Yes.
It was discovered they had a United States passport that identified him as, Luigi Mangione.
That sounds Italian.
From there, continued search of his property. A firearm was located, and a suppressor was also located.
The New York Post reported that Luigi Mangione had documents with him that were critical of the health insurance industry. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro condemned those who have been celebrating Brian Thompson's murder online.
Brian Thompson was a father to two. He was a husband, and he was a friend to many. And yes, he was the CEO of a health insurance company.
Right.
In America, we do not kill people in cold blood to resolve policy differences or express a viewpoint. I understand people have real frustration with our healthcare system, and I have worked to address that throughout my career. But I have no tolerance, nor should anyone, for one man using an illegal ghost gun to murder someone because he thinks his opinion matters most. In a civil society, we are all less safe.
Mangione is 26 years old. He has a bachelor's and a master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania. He had majored in computer science. I want to tell you about Upside. It's a free app that gets you cash back on things like gas in restaurants. This is real cash back. It's money that appears in your...
Imagine entering your name and all of a sudden all of your car finance agreements that you had before 2021 just
Now to the urgent manhunt for the killer of the United Healthcare CEO. Right now, the AP is reporting a man with a gun similar to the one thought to be used in the murder has been
Upside
taken
app
in for
that you can
questioning in
transfer straight
Pennsylvania.
into your bank account. I used Upside when I went to Dunkin' Donuts for a cup of
New
tea.
video
I
obtained by
claimed an
ABC
offer
News
for
shows the
Dunkin' on
suspect
the app.
waiting for Brian Thompson moments before that shooting. ABC's Rena Roy is in New York. Police sources tell ABC News a man in Altoona, Pennsylvania is being held for questioning in connection with the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. They say he has a similar gun to the one used in the killing and was found with a fake ID. The NYPD now sending detectives there. Today, new video obtained by ABC News shows the suspect lying in wait. When the killer spots his mark, he runs across the street and opens fire. In newly released photos, the suspect is seen getting into a New York City taxi about 20 minutes after the shooting, appearing to look right at the camera.
We feel comfortable. We're getting closer and closer.
Hundreds of tips are pouring in, thousands of police officers working the case.
I don't want to do anything that's going to tip him off that we're on his trail, but we feel really good where we are.
Again, NYPD divers searching a Central Park pond. They hope to find the gun used in the shooting and the bicycle the suspect got away on. Near the pond, investigators found this backpack linked to the shooter. In it, police sources tell us a jacket and Monopoly money.
Some kind of statement, some messaging that has to be figured out.
The police also built a timeline starting 10 days before the shooting, November 24th, when they say the suspect arrived in New York by bus just after 10 p.m. He immediately took a taxi to the scene of the crime. He took another taxi to a hostel on the Upper West Side where he checked in using a fake ID and was spotted on a security camera without his mask. On December 4th, police say the suspect is seen leaving the hostel at 5:30 in the morning and arriving near the Hilton 11 minutes later. He was seen walking nearby, ordering at Starbucks and waiting for Thompson, who crossed 6th Avenue at 6:44 a.m. Today's new video giving us more detail of that. 45 minutes later, police say the suspect was seen at the bus station by the George Washington Bridge, but not seen since. At
Detective Dave, your first thoughts on this arrest?
It's exactly what you expect to happen when you have law enforcement put all merits to bear, rubber to the road. The work that was done to get this person, at least a photo of him, was immense. It was a massive amount of work being done to go through all that video surveillance and the footage and the like, and to have it culminate to this apprehension, and eventually it looks like they're going to charge him with the murder. It's what you expected with the police department to do. When we look for someone, they're going to find them.
The McDonald's, the person at the McDonald's is what really gets me. I mean, that is just so impressive to me. This person saw who they believe to be the person in the photos, the person with the medical mask, the surgical mask, and those distinctive eyebrows, and of course the eyes. I mean, that's what got me when I saw the latest photograph that was released on Saturday, was the eyes and the eyebrows. And so this person did the absolute right thing and called law enforcement. Law enforcement responded. They asked the person to take the mask down. They asked for ID. They said it was a fake ID. They went from there, and they're saying they found a ghost gun on him, which is incredibly disturbing because that's something that you could just make with a 3D printer.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the other thing, and expecting the fact that you were possibly committed a murder, and you keep the weapon with you. That's very telling in the fact that either he couldn't make a gun again, it was something he treasured a little bit. It operated, I guess, to what he thought it would. And was there anything beyond what he did on Wednesday morning? Was he thinking anything further than that? Because, when you look at the manifesto, and apparently they're just doing a little digging on him, his anger toward corporations and the healthcare system was very vitriol, and that's something to be concerned about. But I will tell you, if the amount of work that was put in to get that photo out and to have someone call, that's why good old-fashioned police work sometimes, even though all the technology is out there, it trumps it. And that video, that photo, thankfully somebody did say something, and it's
I can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long. I can't help